Well, welcome back, Tahnee. Thank you again for more of your time. We really appreciated everything you did the first time, and we had an overwhelming response for more from our viewers. So thank you for being willing to come back with us today.
Absolutely.
So I divided our questions from our viewers into three distinct baskets. We'll be talking about work-life balance, self-doubt, and how to grow for yourself and your team. So just starting off the top with our work-life balance, do you work from home or do you work in the sites mostly?
I am now work at home. I was hired on site in our Joplin, Missouri site. And then May of 2022, we shut our site down and we all moved to work at home.
Okay, well, that's great. And how do you balance? I know you kind of touched about this a little bit in the beginning, but especially now that you're work at home and you have that division of, workspace and home space in the same spot, how do you manage your children, your space, your time, and your own needs effectively?
Some days are better than others, which is a reoccurring statement that I have. Um, I do have my support system, so they help tremendously. On my days off, I get out of my house. We go somewhere just outside. Um, we use a calendar on my phone that keeps track of my work schedule, my school schedule, the boys' school schedule, sports. It gets a little hectic, but the main thing is to separate the two.
And do you share that calendar with your support system people? Is it like a shared calendar so everybody knows you're on the same page?
That calendar is more for me.
Hmm.
I will take a screenshot and be like, this is our availability.
And I'm sure you're very busy with all of that as well. So
Very color
how
coordinated.
did you find, or did you just have this in your current support network? How did you select like daycare or the right preschool to accommodate your time and hours? Um, Tell us a little bit about how you went on that journey.
With my oldest, I got really lucky. Um, one of my jobs was at the daycare. So I actually got a discount for working there. And so my oldest was able to go there. And then after I left there, I still got a discount for him because his dad is a veteran. And so they
Oh,
gave us a
okay.
military discount. With the youngest, though, um, he stayed home with me all the time. And I learned very quickly for my mental health once he started being active um, that I had to find him a place. And so a friend of mine, um, she introduced me to her babysitter. And thankfully, I it's cheaper.
It was a
um,
good fit.
right. She's been doing this for like 20 years. So I have full confidence in her and her abilities. But you know, to be the best mom that I can be, I had to put him in daycare. I wanted to keep him home with me, but I knew for his developmental, he needed to go. So
Yeah, and I can understand that from a socialization aspect. I think it's really great when they're able to be with their peers as well. It helps them grow.
definitely. He was very quiet. And he would talk, but not really. I mean, he's only 2, so he's still in that gibber phase. But once he started going to daycare and being around other kiddos his age, he just skyrocketed. It was amazing. And now I'm like, "Okay, buddy, calm down. I can't understand you."
Well, that's a great, great ending to have to that story for sure. So, moving on to self-doubt. How do you take the microphone back and really get other people's opinion out of your head so that isn't what you gauge your reality by?
You know, I would just say we've got to build connections with people. Um, I'm a big supporter. We spend 8 hours a day together. So, being my team supporter, learning who they are is huge.
Yeah.
We got to have fun while we're here.
That's very true. Um, and how would you, or what type of advice would you give to someone that's shy, that is trying to step out of that comfort zone? I know so many of the things that you did recently were so way out of your comfort zone. How do you embrace that plunge, and just rip the band-aid off and go for it, especially when, internally there's that talk track of, oh, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. There's a movie called, I think it's like Yes Man or something like that, where he just says yes to everything. Um, that's kind of how I am in my life, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. But just knowing that once you take that step, there's so many possibilities that are going to open up for you.
Just the
So,
fact of saying yes
yeah,
opens the doors. And you're right. It's kind of like when we say, um, always smile, even when you're talking, because it comes across in your voice, even when you can't say it. So the positivity of just being able to say, yes, I can do it, subconsciously, you're telling yourself you can too.
yes, you've got to believe in your abilities. It's terrifying, but knowing that you are going to do this no matter what, asking for help, that's huge. Even if you know it, um, and you're still scared, we have leadership that's been there. They know,
Very true.
they know exactly what you're going through. So,
Was there ever a point in time within TP or your previous careers before that that you were just like, I just can't do it anymore? And if so, how did you get yourself back into a headspace that you felt empowered again?
um, so recently, I would say within the last couple of years, you know, I've gone to do things, and not been rejected, but have told, yeah, you're not quite the right fit. So that's when, you take a step back, you look at your abilities. And if you don't have that box checked, go out and get that box checked. Here at TP, we've got the jump program. I've gone through that,
Hmm.
so that helped. Um, I enrolled in college again. So I'm actually going through DeVry.
Hmm.
It's online. I get to do it at home in between work and the boys, and take that step to better yourself.
That's great, great advice. And you've got to feel great about yourself and all your accomplishments as well. Congratulations getting back into school. I know that can be a challenge, especially with kids.
Yes. The oldest made me take a first day of school picture like I do with him. So that is out there somewhere.
That's awesome, though, that you have that tradition and that they wanted to extend that forward and show you the significance of mom. This is your first day. We're excited for you too.
Yes. It was amazing.
That's awesome. So, you mentioned jump, and as we get into our growth section, how do you recommend someone find the right opportunities to meet their skill set? Or to your point, how would you find out? Because sometimes we're not aware of what we're missing in our own skill set, and that kind of drives the rejection. And you mentioned you kind of inventoried your skills. So how did you accomplish that?
I talked to my leadership. This is where I want to go. How do I get there? And they're
Hmm.
like, we've got the jump program, we've got the partnership through DeVry. You can do some job shadowing once you're through with the jump program. I'm like, okay, let's go. So my leadership knows where I'm at and where I want to be. So they're helping me along the way.
That's awesome. And having that relationship with your leaders really is the key to being able to grow. And to your point earlier, being willing to say yes to things that make us uncomfortable.
Most definitely.
So, as you're managing your team, how are you identifying those people that have potential, and how are you ensuring that your team is a reflection of your own desire to succeed?
Yeah. I mean, everybody has their own abilities, strengths, weaknesses. Um, my leadership, I talked last time about when I became a supervisor, it was because a group of people went to Bogota.
Hmm.
And at the time, our ACM we were the only two on the floor. And a statement that she made has stuck with me. We're here to squish and mold. So my people, I learn about them and I squish and mold. They may be strong in one area, not as much in another. So that balance is what we work on. And
That's very true.
making the connections with them is huge for me.
And knowing that they can rely on you as well as you rely on them and that they're valuable, right? When people feel they're valuable, they naturally want to do better. No one wakes up to say, I'm not going to succeed today because I don't
Right.
want to,
Yes.
right?
Yes. You know, we're not here to point out the mistakes every time. I've had those jobs where they harp on you. This is what we did wrong. This is what we did wrong. We need to show them what they're doing right. Hey, you got eight great surveys today. Good job. Keep it up. And that motivation, it sticks with them.
Absolutely. So, as you've been trying to continue your own growth trajectory, and sky is absolutely the limit, we expect to see even more greatness out of you. But have you ever felt stuck? Like you were really giving it your all and you weren't getting noticed, or you felt as if you weren't making the contributions that you wanted to make, but you were really just focused on doing the right things? If that ever happened to you, how did you get unstuck?
Um, so I was talking earlier about, recently applying for a position. Um, the line that I'm currently on, it's my baby. I've been with it from the get-go. It was why I went to India. So it holds that special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Um, and I went out for a promotion and I didn't get it. And I felt really low, just being honest.
Yeah.
um, I was super excited. And then to hear that I didn't get it, um, put me in a really rough patch. And to get out of that, I knew that I had PTO coming up anyway.
Hmm.
Because I took a week off to spend with the kids for summer. We went fishing and everything. So during that time, I reflected on myself and, um, you know, I have the capabilities, but what can I do to get better?
Hmm.
So when I came back, I started doing the TP learnings and just covering all of my bases, growing as much as I can. That way, when the next promotion comes up,
Hmm.
I can say, I'm ready, let's go. Um, Going back to school, I'm going for human resources
Oh,
business
nice.
management. So I'm about halfway through with that now. Um, this semester is sociology and accounting, and I'm week 2 into it, and my brain is all over the place already. Um, but you know, one of the things that we discussed in India
Hmm.
is not to just settle for an answer. Ask why until you understand. You know,
Hmm.
why did I not get the promotion? Um, what can I do to better myself? So just keep going until you're in a place that you feel comfortable in that answer.
Absolutely agree with you there. And to your point, just be relentless and push yourself as hard as possible to get to the true reason, and you will succeed.
Yeah.
Um, as a woman in a very diverse work population, and of course, we lean into our diversity and our uniqueness that becomes our superpowers. Have you ever been in an environment where you thought that perhaps you weren't being heard or didn't have a seat at the table, as a woman or otherwise? And how did you create that voice for yourself?
Um, I've been really lucky that I guess I'm just the type of personality. If I want you to hear me, you're gonna hear me. Um, um, there have been a couple times where I'm like, man, I am really a square peg in a round hole. And that's when I go out and I say, hey, listen, this is what I want to say. You need to listen to me. So at work, I think I have two different personalities, maybe a work personality and a home personality, because I'm very outgoing at work. Um, at home, I'm more reserved. So currently, they are they are more balanced. But definitely at work, if I want you to hear me, you're going to hear me. Um, and I think that I get respect from my coworkers for that.
Yeah,
So
being able to speak up for yourself, right? And also, it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, saying yes and
yeah,
believing that you can do it. And when you believe in yourself, people pay attention,
yes,
right? And goes back to the why. If you aren't happy with the results that you're getting and you don't feel like people are taking you seriously, ask why, get those outside opinions, right? And use them and really reflect, as you mentioned, on yourself. And then take that as your seasoning in the perfect recipe, if you will,
right.
to round yourself out.
Yes, push forward, and then it goes back to the support system. Once you are on that path, lean on your people. Um, you know, there are people that don't have people. You reach out to me, I'll be your person. My best friend and I, I sat down next to her on a Saturday at work, and I'm like, "You're my person now." She's like, "Okay." So here we are 5 years later, and we're still friends. But lean on your people, and like I said, if you don't have people, I'll be a person. Come on over.
Well, that's awesome. You hear it here first, friends. Reach out because Tanya is always ready to make a new friend. So you're not alone. There is someone
No,
out there for you. Same with us. Get involved, right? We're here, and the whole reason why we're doing this series is to reach those viewers that may think they're alone, that
yeah,
you're not. You always have somebody on your right and your left. Just lean in, and we'll help support you.
definitely.
Any parting words that you have for our viewers as we wrap up today?
Thanks, guys. You made me feel super special. I came back from that week that I spent with the boys, and I had all these questions, and I was like, "Oh, guys, thank you." So I'm super excited for you guys.
Well, awesome. Thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you, viewers, for your questions and follow ups, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again. Have a great night.